if you look at the chart, you have to play in this moment, in this move, you have to assess what has happened on this chart. So this is how I would treat this trade. The first part of what I said is true. It's kind of like you have to admit defeat because you didn't see it. You have to keep validating. This becomes a balance between greed and realism and failure. So a couple events can happen here. You can touch trend, which becomes the best place to buy in all time frames. The longer this move frays out to attack this level, the shorter your buying opportunity becomes, because here you're buying at 1139, here you're buying at 1156, here you're buying at 1174, and so forth and so forth and so forth, following trend in a scenario where you have confirmed the trend can hold. As time goes on, you will be making less and less money. So that's scenario one. Scenario two is where you become more greedy. So this is a test of greed, right? This is a test of patience and greed to buy this trend level. If trend only ever comes here, for example, and price does this, right? And this and comes here and this didn't hit trend, but yet still would have been the best spot to buy. So too much greed means you have lost the opportunity to buy the coin, and now you are forced into this parallel that in a situation where if this can still remain true, you just have to buy price higher as time goes on. So time works against you here because it's following an uptrend. There's also another scenario where this uptrend doesn't hold on a fractal time frame. So you create some kind of downtrend here, right? You create some kind of downtrend here. You get compressed against this into a situation where you actually fail this right here. You fail that. But then maybe you catch this level fractally, because remember, we're looking at hourly chart right now. Catch this level fractally. This confirms the first pullback of this level on a 4-hour time frame. Just because you've broken the hourly doesn't mean you've invalidated the entirety of the move, right? Because this information is all fractal. So you could have this move that pulls, and this happens all the time. And you could have this move that pulls out to here and then does this and breaks out, therefore making this the best spot to buy, but you bought somewhere in here or here or here. So this becomes a balance of the most amount of greed you can have in a move will always founder you the best results. But there's a line there where if you're too greedy, you'll have missed the move. And if you're too greedy, you then have to forfeit your own emotional ties to this and buy somewhere on this trend up here, right? So the same thing that actually happened on this whole entirety of the move, going back to the very first thing I said about you have to admit defeat here and say, okay, well, I didn't buy the correct spot, so now I have to look at buying this in a higher time frame. We just recreated that whole same scenario in here. So this becomes the balance of greed versus confirmation of the move. There's events that will show you failure every moment of this chart, and therefore why people sell 20 Bitcoin at a time or buy 40 Bitcoin at a time, and why somebody may have bought 50 Bitcoin here, but then saw some type of failure and said, okay, this is failure, and sold 50 Bitcoin. They're punching the price down in seconds, right? These are the decisions that are made. The game of chess that's played, like you don't know what you're going to do in chess 2 moves in front of time. All you can do is predict what you are trying to set up for a long-term strategy. If you move your rook or your bishop this place, you're saying to yourself, you're saying, I'm moving my rook or bishop here because I want to do this strategy, because I want to make my queen go here, and then I want to move my pawn here to trap that piece there if he doesn't see it, and I want to do. So you're setting up this, like that's all we did with this big red line up here, and even the one that's up here, and so forth and so forth. We've set up strategies that we want to see execute, but if we're expecting our opponent to move their knight, but they move a pawn 3 moves in a row instead, it completely changes everything you have to do in a chart, right? Or everything you have to do in a chess game. This is the exact same thing. Like you can't see those hard set failures without understanding the dynamics of what's happening in the moment. All these other onsets of theories that are creating exactly where you can see points of failure, and it's just such a hard question to answer. Like how do you see failure? How do you see success? How do you know when to buy? How do you know when to exit? You can't, but what you can do is you can create the rules that will validate your positions and then say, well, this is, that idea of balance between greed versus losing out versus buying too early is a multi-tiered question, right? If this becomes TH, which is buying too high, this becomes greed here, or well, this would be greed here, and this would be M for missed opportunity. In this scenario, bought too high. In this scenario, you were greedy and you got rewarded for it. In this scenario, you were you missed the move because you were too greedy. But greed could easily be this, right? You could easily take M here and turn this into G because your greed was down here because this G failed to exist because this just then 4 became too high. So all you did was shift this whole paradigm down like this. All you did was have another point here, right? And when one level failed, all you did was this. You move this to here, you move this to here, and then you moved your TH to here, which then this was like buying the top, right? Now this doesn't even become too high. This becomes like, oh, you just bought the actual top, right? And then as soon as an event happens that invalidates this, the whole cycle repeats as just its own theory ladders against itself, right? So this becomes like where to buy becomes a balance of understanding the dynamic events that are happening in the moment versus what the greediest point of that can be. And you'll have an event like this where if this was the greediest point, that can be true, but it can only be true if you hold the uptrend, because this is a truth here, here, here. This is not a truth here because you lost uptrend, which completely destroys this whole chart that it completely readjusts this one to this one to this one to this one to this one, and creates this new series of events where you have this new ladder that completely has readjusted and even taken this level and therefore moved it down to here or down to the leg, right? So you can't answer it. You can't. Only thing you can do is. But this is why people make and lose money in stocks, right? Because it's a game of chess. You can't make one move at the beginning of a game and just expect to win because you've done the ultimate move. It doesn't work like that. This evolves, right? See the side of accumulation, and accumulation starts like this, right? You have this here, right? Which is going to, and we're actually going to use a different color for this side. Let's use this peach color. Sure, why not? So then you have these uptrends that we create, right? You have these uptrends like this, right? Where you have this here, which is trying to back attack this here, which you could see right there, right? This accumulation cycle supports the attack of a higher value, right? Which will then give you a larger accumulation cycle. As you can see, Wabi's touching down this idea of greed against the larger time frame, right? Which will then give you the attack of or I guess we'll probably be attacking a weekly at this point. Where's the weekly here? Right here. Yeah, that's the weekly. So then you'd have attacked a weekly after completing kind of these daily cycles, right? So you will have attacked a weekly. I'm going to leave all the candles the same color. Right, so you will now have created a attack on this weekly candle here, right? And you can kind of see what's happening now, and kind of this wedge that's being created. Because simply, if you just did this, you can see the same distribution cycle happening, right? You can see the same find support, right? Support happens on the chart, find support, break support, right? To go find your next support to be compressed against time, against this move, right? Which will then have created this uptrend here, right? So if you simply were to do that, that's what we have to break to quote unquote lose support in the move, or to gain the attack of the next level up here. So this is what accumulation looks like, right? You do this on either side of the chart, and you're doing the exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, ladder down, right? Fails 3. So let's start this over again. 1, 2, 3 to attack this, or in this moment, this fails to hold this uptrend, right? So then it's failing to hold this right here. it breaks this. So these are going to be lost trends will be, sure, we'll do purple, right? So let's look at this from a distribution standpoint, right? Back attack the value that got you there, right? You have your first trend right here, like this. Try to break that trend off of support, right? Which is happening. Let's delete that there. Down here, right? So you've broken another local trend here, right? To create kind of this. Here, let's get this thing accurate. To create this uptrend here, you lose uptrend on the attack of the valley. You move down, therefore giving you a ladder down through time, giving you this kind of point of compression, trying to end distribution on a larger time frame. Like you are trying to end this distribution trend, because these what you're looking at now is just the breakdown of the fractal information, as to where now all you're doing is trying to create a ladder up like this to this point where you are attacking the break of this. Same thing we looked at with Matic, same thing we looked at with everything, right? So you are just trying to find support on the bottom side to end distribution, right? Well, you guys already know what I'm doing, so there's no surprise factor here. I think that moment already passed, as to where now you can see the side of accumulation against distribution, as to where in accumulation you are trying to, what's the reward for catching a falling knife? Should it not be therefore the same reward as releasing a falling knife, which is buying your critical level of support, which is releasing a falling knife? So if you're not buying a falling knife to release the valley, should that not be the same exact thing on the other side? Well, it should, and that's why it is, right? That's why this works the way it does, right? You have your weekly level here, which is catching a falling knife to have the reward of selling the valley, right? So you've bought this to make. Oh, that's not the right tool. This part of this is usually eye-opening for a lot of people. You just made 50% buying a falling knife, right? Well, is it this the exact same thing as an uptrend, the side of accumulation, right? This is literally the exact same thing. It's all you've done is release a falling knife instead of catching it. So when you start to think of accumulation cycles as this chart, it's just a mirror image of the other side, which that's how charts work across every time frame. You flip these charts and they're the exact same thing on both sides, right? Like there's a science behind these and as to why they work. But if that science is true on one side, that means it has to be true on the other side, because there's no difference. And that's why it is, right? That's why you have caught a falling knife, right? To hold an uptrend back attack against the valley that brought you there. Let's just move this level here, right? That's the valley that brought you there. You need to hold this uptrend in order to break this level, to come over top of it and go over top of that level. Otherwise, you're creating these ulterior trends where you are trying to, this is going to catch this trend and it's going to try to continue but get compressed against these trends like this, right? And fail down, therefore laddering from here to here to here to here to here. And further down, all the way until you have laddered down to this, off of this point to this point to that point. So if you simply were to just do this, look at accumulation and distribution, you're laddering on both sides, releasing knives and catching falling knives on both sides of the chart, just as a default to how this works. You're seeing the exact same thing. Releasing a falling knife here, this action is the exact same as this action, right? All you're doing is catching the falling knife to release a level, or vice versa, whichever side of the chart you look at. So when you start to pick apart accumulation, this becomes conceptually very easy to understand. But as I always tell you guys, the execution of this is not so easy. To draw this out was, years and years and years of practice to be able to fluidly just draw this out. But then when you strip away everything on here, you strip away this, you strip away this, you strip away this, what are you left with? And instead of all that fancy stuff we just drew, you're just left with an uptrend. Simply the start of accumulation, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycle started on the inverse, right? You're simply left with an uptrend, right? That is back attacking these valleys that brought it there. And within that uptrend, you have local trends that you're trying to break. Well, now you guys know why when you draw these trend lines, why they exist, right? Because this is trying to break like its own 1, 2, 3, 4 5 against the values that are bringing it there on a fractal time frame, in this sense against the larger part here, right? Or I should say like the larger part like this. So when you strip away all the fancy knowledge, now you have a reason as to why trends exist. Now you understand what happens when trends exist and why they do, and you can create these catalogs and categories of what's going to happen when this trend breaks and why. That becomes the execution of understanding the larger set of knowledge of what's going on in the move. Because when it's drawn out like this, it becomes very clear and very simple.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.